Lisa and Kenza shared more than an apartment. They shared dreams, a hustle, and survival. Their small two-bedroom flat always smelled of makeup powder, setting spray, and hot water. Brushes lay scattered everywhere. Wig stands leaned against the wall. Ring lights blinked on and off at odd hours. They ran a makeup business together, waking up before dawn for brides, working through exhaustion, chasing payment, and smiling even when clients delayed money. Lisa was the calm one. When clients shouted, she apologized. When money was tight, she prayed. When Kenza complained, she listened. Kenza was fire. She talked big. Dreamed big. Wanted more money, more attention, more life. At night, they lay on their beds talking about the future. One day, Kenza would say, "I'll marry rich. I'm tired of struggling." Lisa would smile. "I just want peace," she'd reply. They laughed. But even then, their hearts were not walking the same road. That afternoon, the market was hot and crowded. Lisa wiped sweat from her face as they priced foundation and lashes. Kenza argued loudly with a vendor over price. Then a voice screamed joyfully, "Kenza." They turned. Martha. Not the Martha they remembered. This Martha looked polished. Her skin glowed. Her clothes whispered wealth. Her phone sparkled in her hand like a jewel. Kenza screamed and hugged her tightly. "My God! Look at you." After a short conversation, Martha smiled proudly. "My husband just returned from abroad. I'm organizing a big homecoming party this weekend. You must come." She noticed Lisa and hugged her too. The invitation card felt heavy in Lisa's hand. Something about it felt important. As they walked away from the market, Kenza couldn't stop smiling. "This party," she said, "is destiny." Lisa didn't know how right she was. Martha's house glowed that night. Music floated gently. Laughter echoed. Wealth sat quietly in corners, not loud but confident. Lisa felt small but grounded. She stood calmly, observing people who had already arrived at places she was still dreaming of. Kenza, however, blended in like she belonged. Martha proudly introduced them to guests, then finally to her husband and his friends. "And this," Martha said, smiling, "is Ethan." Ethan shook hands politely. But when Lisa looked up and smiled, not flirtatious, not desperate, just pure and soft, something stopped him. Later, at the drinks table, Lisa struggled politely. Ethan noticed. "Here," he said gently, handing her a glass. That moment felt ordinary. But life is often changed by ordinary moments. They spoke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just real conversation. Across the room, Kenza watched. Her heart sank. Because she knew she had lost him before the race even began. Lisa and Ethan started dating. Quietly. Genuinely. Lisa never bragged. Never posted. Never compared. She simply loved him. She helped him think, plan, grow. Ethan adored her. He took her shopping. Bought dresses, shoes, little surprises. Sometimes, he even bought gifts for Kenza. "Lisa, your friend will love this," he'd say. Kenza would smile brightly. "Wow, you're so lucky," she'd laugh. But deep down, her heart whispered, "Why not me?" Then one evening, Lisa's hands trembled as she spoke. "Kenza, can I tell you something?" "Yes. I'm pregnant." For half a second, time froze. Kenza's smile stiffened, just briefly. Then she hugged her tight. "Oh my God, congratulations." Her voice sounded right. Her heart did not. That night, Kenza locked herself in the bathroom. The light flickered. She stared at her reflection. She gets love. She gets money. Now she gets a child. Her voice cracked. She gets everything, and I get nothing. The mirror stayed silent. Lisa's hands trembled as she dialed Ethan's number. I need to see you. We need to talk, she said, her voice soft, uncertain. Of course, Ethan replied warmly. Come over. He sent his driver to pick her up. Lisa's heart raced as she waited, nervous about how he would react. When she arrived at his mansion, the building seemed to loom over her. Ethan greeted her at the door, his face calm but curious. Lisa, what's going on? He asked gently. She swallowed hard, trembling slightly. I'm pregnant. For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then joy broke across his face like sunlight through clouds. Lisa, that's amazing. Move in with me. Let's start this life together. Tears and smiles mixed as Lisa nodded. The driver was sent to take them to her apartment. Together, they arrived, and Lisa packed her things, each item a small echo of her old life. Once packed, they returned to Ethan's mansion. As the car pulled up, Kenza appeared in the doorway, waving, her smile thin but bright. As the door closed behind Lisa, the apartment fell silent. And in that silence, a rage awakened. Kenza wandered alone through the dim streets, her thoughts heavy, her heart twisting with jealousy. Ethan, he had never even noticed her, yet she wanted him more than anything. And Lisa had everything she could never touch. She remembered the stories from her childhood, whispers about a witch doctor who could turn desire into reality. Desperate, Kenza followed the winding path far from the city noise, until she reached a clearing where shadows danced under the moonlight. The shrine was strange and unsettling. Bones hung from trees, and candles flickered in jars filled with dark, swirling liquids. Incense smoke curled like fingers through the air, carrying the scent of something wild and ancient. In the center, a woman sat on a mat, her eyes calm, almost unblinking, as if she could see straight into the soul. What do you want? The woman asked, her voice steady, yet chilling. I want Ethan, Kenza whispered, her voice trembling. My friend's boyfriend, and I want her baby gone. She took the one I love. The witch doctor didn't flinch. She began chanting, the words strange and sharp, cutting through the night air. Then she handed Kenza a white handkerchief. It felt icy cold in her hand, as though it had absorbed 1,000 winters. Place this in his pillow, the woman instructed. When he lies on it, she will lose her baby. He will turn away from her, and desire you. Kenza's eyes widened. And what if he doesn't sleep here? What if he changes the pillow? Remember, the woman warned, her voice low, he may travel. He may sleep elsewhere. But the moment he is in his house, he must use the same pillow. If the curse breaks, if he lays eyes on you, madness will follow you. Kenza laughed softly, a dangerous sound. It's simple, she murmured. As long as he sleeps on the same bed, he won't think to change it. She left the shrine, clutching the handkerchief, her mind racing with dark possibilities. The night seemed to whisper promises only she could hear. The next morning, Kenza called Lisa. Her voice sweet, almost caring, hey. I was thinking I could come over for a few days. Help you relax, take care of you. Lisa, naive and trusting, smiled through the phone. Really? That would be so nice, you'd stay. Of course. I'll be there soon. Later that day, Kenza arrived, all smiles and warm hugs, pretending excitement for Lisa's pregnancy. Ethan was away on a trip, only the housemaids were at home. For days, Kenza wandered the mansion, admiring the chandeliers, the polished floors, the sprawling garden, all while hiding her true intentions. She laughed softly, commenting, "This place, it's beautiful. You've really made a home here." Then, when the house was quiet and everyone was busy elsewhere, she found her chance, the master bedroom. From her bag, she pulled the tiny white handkerchief given to her by the witch doctor, along with a needle and thread. Her hands were steady, precise. She made a tiny slit in the pillow, inserted the cast handkerchief, and stitched it back so perfectly there was no trace. She stepped back, admired her work with a satisfied smile, and walked through the corridor as if she were enjoying the house's view, humming softly. Days later, Ethan returned from his trip. The house was filled with laughter and warm greetings. Dinner was light, conversations polite, smiles genuine, or so it seemed. That night, everyone went to bed. The next evening, Lisa woke with a strange feeling, a sudden, sharp pain in her stomach. Panic struck her, then Ethan rushed to her side. "Lisa. What's wrong? Are you okay?" he cried. I don't know, it hurts," she whimpered. Kenza appeared immediately, concerned. "Oh my God, Lisa. We need to get you to the hospital." The drive was tense, silent except for Lisa's groans. At the hospital, the hours felt like days. Finally, the doctor emerged, face heavy. "I'm so sorry, the baby didn't make it. You've had a miscarriage." Ethan's world crumbled. He held Lisa tightly, rocking her gently, tears streaming. "I'm here, Lisa, it's going to be okay. We'll get through this together." Kenza joined them, feigning sympathy, placing a comforting hand on Lisa's shoulder, murmuring soft words. But deep inside, Kenza's eyes glimmered with a quiet, dark satisfaction. The charm was working. After the hospital, Kenza returned to her own home, her smile unreadable. In the days that followed, Ethan's demeanor changed. He grew cold, distracted, distant. He stopped noticing Lisa's efforts, stopped sharing laughter, stopped making time. At work, he became irritable, short-tempered, yet Kenza seemed to pull his attention effortlessly. Arguments started to flare for no reason, small things exploding into fights. Ethan became impatient, harsh. And one evening, after another heated exchange, he said coldly, "I can't do this anymore, you need to leave." Heartbroken, Lisa packed her things and moved to her family home on the outskirts of town. Meanwhile, Ethan, now entangled in Kenza's charm and deceit, began making subtle advances. Slowly, carefully, Kenza accepted. They began dating, their secret growing, while Lisa remained unaware of the betrayal that had taken root. Kenza visited Lisa often at her family home. She held her hand, wiped her tears, whispered comfort. "Don't cry, you'll find another good man," she said softly. Lisa would sob harder. "Why did my life break like this?" Kenza sighed, shaking her head. "Life is unfair, but you'll rise again." Her voice was gentle. Her lies effortless. Unknown to Lisa, Kenza now shared Ethan's bed. She spent his money freely. Designer clothes. Shining jewelry. Endless trips across cities and countries. Each visit, Kenza arrived glowing. Perfect hair. Expensive outfits. A confidence that didn't match her words. Lisa noticed. "Since when do you wear things like this?" she asked one day, her eyes red. Kenza laughed lightly. "Business is booming, and I finally met someone rich who supports me." Lisa forced a weak smile. "I'm happy for you." Kenza leaned closer. "One day, I'll take you to meet him, we'll travel together." Lisa nodded, holding on to hope. But that day never came. There was always an excuse. "He traveled. He's busy. Next time, I promise." And Lisa believed her. Every time. While the friend who wiped her tears was the same one who had destroyed her life. Ethan had taste. Not the loud kind, the kind powerful men noticed. Every December, he changed the look of his house. New sofas. New tables. New beds. It wasn't just tradition, it was strategy. He owned a furniture company, and his end-of-year parties were quiet exhibitions. Big men came, admired, asked questions, placed orders. That morning, his assistant smiled knowingly. "Sir, it's that time of the year again." Ethan leaned back. "Already?" "Yes." "Should we begin the changes?" He nodded slowly. "Do it. Make it different this time." A pause. Then he added, almost smiling, "Kenza will love the surprise." Kenza was away again, another trip, another city, another excuse to spend his money. She was due back the next morning so they could prepare for Christmas together. By the end of the week, the house was transformed. Clean. New. Perfect. That night, Ethan lay on his new bed for the first time. He slept deeply. Too deeply. When morning came, he woke with a strange weight in his chest. His head throbbed. His heart raced. Why do I feel like this? Images flashed. Voices echoed. A woman crying. A pillow. Silence. He sat up suddenly and went straight to the bathroom, preparing for Kenza's return. Kenza was picked up from the airport by Ethan's driver. At home, Ethan waited, uneasy and restless. His mind felt split, like pieces refusing to fit together. The car stopped. Kenza stepped out. The moment her eyes met Ethan's, something snapped. She laughed loudly, then suddenly danced, clapping her hands like a child who knew a secret. Ethan froze. "Kenza." His head throbbed. Memories rushed back, sharp and painful. "Where is Lisa? Where is your friend?" Kenza burst into laughter again. "Lisa," she mocked. "You still ask about Lisa?" Her voice rose, wild and proud. "I sent her away." She jumped closer. "I took her baby. I used the pillow. I wanted you. Only you." Ethan staggered back. "What did you just say?" The maids heard the noise. They ran out. They had everything. "I destroyed her so I could have you," Kenza screamed. "And I'd do it again." Ethan collapsed to the floor, his heart tearing apart in silence. Kenza suddenly ran toward the gate, laughing and crying at the same time. "Stop her," Ethan whispered. The two security men chased after her. But fate moved faster. A car sped into the estate, striking Kenza. She fell. Still. Ethan screamed for help. An ambulance came and took her away. Later, he called her parents. Silence returned to the house, heavy, final. After everything with Kenza, Ethan disappeared from the world for a while. He needed silence. He needed air. He needed himself back. One night, he whispered, "I have to find Lisa." But it wasn't easy. The only place he knew was the old house she once shared with Kenza. Unaware to him, Lisa had blocked Ethan completely. She had moved on. Moved forward. With the allowance Ethan used to give her, she had saved quietly and patiently until life pushed her to the edge. Those savings ultimately became her rescue. She opened a beauty salon. Her hands healed others while healing herself. Ethan asked around the old neighborhood. "Do you know where Lisa is now?" Someone paused, then pointed. "She owns a salon not far from here." When Ethan walked in and their eyes met, the air cracked. "You?" Lisa snapped. Her hands trembled. Her voice burned. "Leave. I don't want to hear anything." Ethan tried. "Please, just get out," she shouted. He left. Restless. Haunted. Days later, he returned to her family home. Lisa refused to come out. Her mother held her shoulders gently. "Listen first," she said. "Judge later." Ethan spoke. Everything poured out. The pillow. The curse. The truth. Lisa froze. "Kenza," she whispered. Shock swallowed her anger. Kenza's family had buried her quietly in their village, crushed by shame, surrounded by whispers. They never told Lisa. They couldn't. Lisa wept. Not just for herself, but for a friend she once called sister. Later, Lisa and Ethan traveled to Kenza's village. When Kenza's parents saw Lisa, they collapsed in tears. "Forgive us," they begged. Lisa held them. "She did wrong," she said softly, "but she once stood by me when I had nothing, so I hold no grudge against you and your family." They returned to the city later. Months later, love found its courage again. Lisa and Ethan married quietly. And in time, their home echoed with laughter, twin boys. Life restored. Jealousy never steals quietly. It destroys loudly and demands payment with pain. Not every friend is meant to walk with you forever. Some are sent to teach you who to trust, who to release, and who you must become to survive. And no matter how dark the night, the truth always wakes up, especially when the pillow changes.